That evening, Dong Dong returned home to find only the old housekeeper waiting for him. Am I eating alone? Haven't Daddy and Mimi come back? Ahem, the young master and madam are busy with something. The old butler looked embarrassed. The young master and his wife rushed to their room as soon as they got back, without even having dinner. They have such a good relationship. Dong Dong blinked and said knowingly. Oh, I see, I get it, their Cold War is over, and Daddy's going to poop now. Young master, you know too much. The old butler was a little sad and didn't know how to reply. Sometimes, having a child who is too smart at home can be quite sad. After waking up the next day, Su Mianmian lay in bed for a long time before she recovered. Although setting these rules was a bit embarrassing and nerve-wracking, their Cold War was finally over. This is a good thing. Uncle, can I go and get a job? Su Mianmian asked in a questioning tone. When he heard Su Mianmian's words, he didn't immediately object, but instead asked a question. Why? Just swipe my card to buy whatever you want. Because of a lack of money. But Su Mianmian felt that giving this reason was like asking an old man for money. She didn't want it to be like this. Because maintaining economic independence after marriage is also very important for women. What? What's so funny? It's nothing. You're right. After being satisfied last night, Hua Ting was in a particularly good mood today. She thought for a moment and replied. The shop where I used to work has closed down, I want to find another job. The boss sent her a text message that day, telling her she didn't need to come anymore, saying he was going home to inherit the family business. My wife is so cute. Let's have Mian Mian do an internship at the company. That way, she'll be safer and easier to take care of. Hua Ting initially refused, but then he suddenly remembered the book Dong Dong had left on his computer, The Hot Daily Life of a Domineering CEO and His Naive Secretary. What the heck? Maybe he could have a fling with the little lamb in the office? I'm already looking forward to it. It'll help you find a job. Hua Ting said. Really? Su Mianmian was shocked that the uncle was being so easy to talk to this time. As the gratitude of Su Mianmian looked up and kissed Hua Ting. Hua Ting was surprised. This was the first time Su Mianmian took the initiative to kiss Hua Ting on the lips. Uncle, thank you. Because Hua Ting helped Su Mianmian find work, Su Mianmian still thank him. Anyway, the job that the uncle found can't be too bad, right? Hua's building. Mary, with a professional smile, said. Our secretariat is looking to hire a few intern assistants, and I think you, madam, would be very suitable. Thank you, Sister Mary. I will work hard, please give me your guidance. Don't be nervous, the assistant's job is very simple, you just need to handle simple tasks. This is your workstation, see if you like it, said Mary while showing her desk. Su Mianmian looked at her desk and asked in confusion. Isn't this workstation a bit too oversized? The uncle's office design is very similar to the style of his room, all black and devoid of any human touch. Then, in front of the imposing CEO's desk, a pink table was placed. Ahem, this was specially made for you by the CEO. Mary said with a professional smile. This looks like the uncle's office. It's too conspicuous for a secretary/assistant to sit in the president's office. There was even a picture of a panda printed on the front of the table, as if afraid that people wouldn't realize that it was for Su Mianmian's personal use. It looks really out of place in such a large office. Hearing the noise outside, Hua Ting opened the door to the room and came out to ask. What are you thinking about? Su Mianmian took a deep breath, turned around, and said seriously. Uncle, thank you for giving me a job opportunity, but could you please do me one more thing? Hua Ting moved closer to Su Mianmian, lowered his head and placed his hand on Su Mianmian's lips. So what do you want? Tell me, and I'll grant your request. It's ridiculous for a secretary/assistant to sit in the CEO's office, I'd rather sit outside like everyone else. His breath hit Su Mianmian's face, and she immediately got goosebumps. That's all? Yes, that's right. Su Mianmian replied. Su Mianmian blinked, somewhat surprised that the uncle was so easy to talk to this time. Okay, I'll grant your wish. Su Mianmian was a little taken aback by the uncle's sudden change in expression. Hearing that, Su Mianmian didn't know what to say, so she turned around and went to the prepared seat. Sitting here feels more normal. After returning to her seat, Mary held back for a while, but couldn't resist any longer. She posted a thread on Tianya under a pseudonym, My boss is a psychopath. He's trying to get his wife's attention by playing hard to get. The chapter title must be long. After I posted that message, Mary walked over in 15-centimeter high heels and smiled professionally. First of all, I will give you newcomers a task. You two should sort and process these documents today. Yes. The two newcomers weighed the rather heavy book in her hand. It looked like it was over 100 pages long. Next, Mary got straight to the point. Your job is a bit special. You're in charge of the boss's 2 meals a day, lunch and afternoon tea. These are based on the boss's preferences, so you can refer to them. To celebrate the arrival of 3 new members today, the Secretariat is holding a welcome party tonight. Actually, it's just a welcome party where everyone has a meal together and sings some songs. The 2 newcomers turned off their computers, grabbed their bags, and prepared to leave. Seeing Su Mianmian still sitting in her seat, she asked. Mary said she'd throw us a welcome party and then go sing karaoke to have some fun. You go first, I'll leave in a bit. Su Mianmian replied. I haven't informed the older man yet, how could I dare leave? Just as she was lost in thought, a voice suddenly came from behind her. Hua Ting looked at her expressionlessly, and said calmly. I'm off work, let's go back. He was slightly annoyed. He had originally planned to give the little lamb the cold shoulder so that she would feel uncomfortable and come to him on her own. But she didn't come all day. Hua Ting now strongly suspects that the strategy guide Shinsu bought is problematic. The playing hard to get tactic doesn't seem to work on lambs, does it? Su Mianmian seemed oblivious to the displeasure in Hua Ting's tone. She asking ingratiatingly. Can I go home a little later tonight? My colleagues in the department are having a welcome party, and I'd like to go too. Upon hearing this, Hua Ting became even more displeased. She actually wanted to play around with other people? This was outrageous. Sure. Really? That's great. The uncle was still very easy to talk to. Hua Ting said coldly. However, the curfew at home is 8 p.m. When was this rule made? Now. 8 o'clock. Even if she went over for a drink of water and left immediately, it wouldn't be enough time. Su Mianmian could barely contain her emotions. She pursed her lips, saying in a coquettish tone. Uncle, if I don't go, I won't be able to make any friends, and if I don't make friends, I won't be able to integrate into the company properly. Seeing her obedient and well-behaved demeanor, Hua Ting felt his pent-up anger from the day had dissipated. After thinking for a moment, he said. Go ahead. Hua Ting said generously. After all that trouble, Su Mianmian arrived at the palace well past 8 o'clock. With the boss coming, what activities would they dare to have? Mary's face paled at the thought of what might happen. She forced a smile and said. Thank you for coming to guide us, boss. However, we've almost finished gathering here, and boss, you're quite busy. Let's all thank boss quickly, and then our gathering can end here. The subordinate in charge of the arrangements was taken aback and said. I originally planned to have a drinking event with the newcomers. It's over. Drinking? Hua Ting glanced at the things on their table, all of which were drinks, and it really didn't look like a dinner party. His pupils contracted slightly, and he said coldly. Mary, it seems I haven't given you enough work. Why do I have this ominous feeling? Mary wanted nothing more than to give her idiot subordinate a good beating, but first she had to get past this hurdle. Su Mianmian reached out and grabbed Hua Ting's hand, saying very sincerely. Uncle, the welcome party was so boring, I didn't know anyone except Sister Mary. Hua Ting was immediately pleased, but he still replied with a touch of arrogance. Really? Didn't you want to go just now? Su Mianmian said weakly in a low voice. I was wrong. After hearing that Su Mianmian was extremely bored, Hua Ting lost interest in anything else and immediately left. Then go back. When Hua Ting couldn't see her, she made a hand gesture to Mary to reassure her. Well done, madam. Mary almost knelt down to thank the lady. Compared to the cold-blooded boss, the lady is like a kind and gentle little angel, like a spring breeze. After a moment of silence, everyone cheered happily after everyone watched the big boss come and go like the wind. The next day. Su Mianmian isn't actually very good at cooking, but she's alright at making cakes. She used to work at a cake shop, and she would watch the boss make them, and over time she learned how. But when I was at the Su family's house, there were servants to take care of the cooking. After marrying Hua Ting, she no longer needed to lift a finger. So, this was the first time she had ever cooked. I'm going to give that uncle a surprise today. The uncle likes sweet things, so she plans to make sweet and sour pork ribs, and then she'll see what kind of vegetables to stir fry. To ensure the older man received fresh food, she set her alarm for 6 a.m. Actually, Hua Ting woke up when the alarm rang. He squinted slightly, watching the little lamb carefully get up, then sneakily put on his clothes, and finally turn around to see if he was awake. He was obviously pretending to be asleep. Hua Ting was secretly overjoyed. Sure enough, his little wife loved him so much. Making him breakfast so early in the morning was something he really wanted to show off. Why are you calling me so early in the morning? What happened? My little lamb is going to cook for me.
Yeah,
That's right. She loves me that much. Your wife definitely couldn't do that. She even wants to give me a little surprise. Should I pretend I don't know and go to the office first?
Friendship over! Goodbye! What a lunatic this early in the morning!
After letting Su Mianmian go downstairs, Hua Ting couldn't resist taking out his phone and dialing a number. It doesn't look very appetizing. Looking at the final product she had made, Su Mianmian had an urge to throw it all away. The dark, unrecognizable sweet and sour pork ribs taste both sweet and astringent, and you need to drink a glass of water after eating one piece to mask the flavor. There were also slightly burnt green peppers and completely burnt meat slices, which looked utterly unappetizing. This was a complete failure. Let's just throw it away. It wouldn't be good if it caused any health problems. Fortunately, the man didn't know he was cooking, otherwise it would have been hard to explain. Dong Dong peeked out and saw Su Mianmian holding a lunchbox. She immediately said jealously, "Mimi, you can't be so biased. Have you forgotten that you have a son who is still growing up? Why do you only cook for your man? What about mine?" "No, that's not it." Dong Dong looked hurt and said angrily, "I knew it. Adults always say one thing and do another. Mimi, you said you'd choose me over daddy. Have you forgotten your promise?" She never said anything like that. What melodramatic show did you watch this time? She raised her hands in surrender and said, "If you want it, this is for you." "Okay, I believe you still love me." Dong Dong happily took the lunchbox, opened it, her face stiffened for 2 seconds, then she closed the lunchbox and said painfully, "I think you should express your love to father. Daddy is very healthy. What you made definitely won't kill him." Dong Dong patted his chest confidently. Upon hearing this, Su Mianmian felt as if she had been wounded by a hidden arrow. Around 11 o'clock, Mang Mang asked Su Mianmian if she wanted to order food. Su Mianmian thought for a moment and ordered a sweet and sour pork ribs dish and a stir-fried pork dish. 10 minutes later, the fast food Mianmian ordered arrived. "Mianmian, your takeout is here. I didn't realize you ate so much." Su Mianmian replied, "Thanks. The food I made this morning was really not presentable, so I'll just use takeout instead." She took out the lunchbox she had washed that morning and put the food inside. That's right, she planned to treat the fast food she bought as if she had cooked it herself. Su Mianmian knocked on the door, heard a reply from inside saying, "Come in," and then pushed the door open and went in. "Why are you so slow? If you do this again, I'll deduct your salary," Hua Ting said unhappily. "Sorry." Su Mianmian ignored his words. She placed the food in front of Hua Ting's desk, opened it for him, handed him the chopsticks, and said ingratiatingly, "Please enjoy your meal." Su Mianmian walked out with the other lunchbox, feeling both guilty and worried. "I made it. I hope the uncle likes it." She picked up her chopsticks and started eating. Holy crap! This tastes awful. Did they put too much salt in it? Su Mianmian returned to the door of the president's office. "Uncle!" Su Mianmian's heart was immediately filled with guilt. If she had known, even if the food she made today looked terrible and tasted awful, she should have stayed. It would have been better than deceiving the uncle. Su Mianmian walked in, looked at the uncle, and couldn't say what was in her heart. Su Mianmian was taken aback and asked, "Uncle, you finished eating? It's quite delicious. Since you can cook, you'll be in charge of my lunches from now on." Hua Ting felt that the little lamb was really pleasing to the eye no matter how he looked at her. Although the food she cooked was a bit salty and the ingredients weren't fresh enough, the taste was still good. Most importantly, it was the thought she put into cooking for him. Delicious? Oh my gosh! Wasn't this takeout from the same company?